Disappointing performance by Turkey, but Wales, it could have been a whole lot more than 2, couldn't it?
Yeah, we'll talk about Turkey in a moment. I think Wales fully deserved it. I thought Aaron Ramsey was brilliant from start to finish. He ran out of legs at the end. We thought when Bale missed the penalty, would this be one of these occasions where he'll regret that, and Turkey produced something from nothing undeservedly. But the battle they showed, the commitment they showed, everyone lost their head slightly there towards the end, but they did enough to see it through, and the second goal then put a nice finish to it. But fully deserved. But Turkey are absolutely nowhere near living up to their billing.
Didi, what's your assessment of the Wales performance this evening?
Brilliant. I questioned them before because Ramsey, Bale didn't really turn up in the first game. But I've got to say, it's hard to pick one. Ramsey's been excellent, Bale has been outstanding, back four been outstanding. Roberts, who just got the goal at the end,
Dan James
was brilliant. James, Kiefer Moore, the way he holds the ball up, I think you don't do him justice if you just call him a big target man. The way he holds the ball up and brings other players into play has been brilliant. An outstanding team performance against a side that's probably better than what they've shown tonight. But I think Wales made him look average. That's how good they were tonight. And I did question them. I've got to take it back because it was probably, we talked about it before the first game. The best performances, what about the big guns? I don't think you can pick too many holes, but as an all-round performance over 90 minutes, I think this performance of Wales tonight was as good as any in the tournament so far. Yeah,
and it's a pundit's prerogative, by the way, to change his mind, that's for sure. Okay. It's certainly allowed. It was a great performance, Richie, and when you think back to 2016 and the adventure that Wales went on, they know now what it's like to get the momentum going at a tournament, so that experience will stand to them, won't it?
Yeah, it looks like they're on another one this time round. I think this is probably their most positive and ambitious target, would be to going into the final group game against Italy with as many as 4 points on the board. So they've done that. So, incredible effort from them all. You can imagine what the spirit is like now. Spirit is not something this group has ever been questioned. They speak openly about the pride in playing for their country and their commitment. None of that was up for question beforehand, but they added the moments of quality. Bale showed up, he was missing at the weekend. Ramsey was superb. James yet again was a threat, and they fully deserve it.
And it eases the pressure a little bit, Didi, going into their final fixture, which will be against Italy. And the possibility is, of course, that Italy may get another 3 points tonight, will be safely into the round of 16. So, maybe Wales won't face an Italian side at full strength, we'll say.
Yeah, and obviously it gives you maybe the possibility, if Italy were to win tonight, if they do play a second string team, make a few changes, it might give you a chance to top the group, because the way they played tonight, I wouldn't put it past them beating Italy. At the same time, you've got to say that, 4 points will be enough to go into the next round. So maybe Robert Page will think, well, I want to make a few changes and maybe rest 4 or 5 players. We've seen Ramsey to keep the lads fresh for the last 16. But I think it's a nice problem to have, or a nice, it's something to think about. Because if you ask me 10 days ago or a week ago, how many points has Wales got after 2 games? I certainly wouldn't have said 4. I said if they get 2, I think they should be delighted. To get 4 points, and the way they did it, deservedly today against a Turkey side that's been cruising through qualifying is an outstanding achievement. I didn't give him a chance to get out of the group, because I think the group is on paper, and also it's a very tough group, and to get through after 2 games is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, really great performance after that relatively lacklustre draw against Switzerland. That really was a fine performance by Wales this evening. Very deserving of the 3 points. And you're very welcome back. So Wales have beaten Turkey by 2-0 in Baku. And after their previous match against Switzerland, Didi, I remember we were trying to put together a package about Gareth Bale, but it didn't come to much, because unfortunately nothing went right for him on the evening against Switzerland. But it was, I suppose, in stark contrast to tonight, where not everything went right, but an awful lot did, and he contributed immensely to their victory, didn't he? Yeah, we were struggling to find something. We could have made this clip a lot longer today than it actually is. This is a brilliant header, because he knows he can't score from there. Heads it across goal to give somebody else a chance. Ramsey comes back, heads it back again, and then they just can't convert, because Kiefer Moore is just a bit late. This is a crossfield ball here. He's got a great left foot.
He's got great vision, he's got great awareness. We see him here, takes it on his left foot. He sees the run of Ramsey, dinks it over the back four. Ramsey's leaning back and knocks it over the bar, unfortunately. Oh, this is something, you know, the presence of mind. This is what the best players have. Obviously, you've got to spot a situation like this. We see it here because there's not really much room. And then Ramsey sees there's space in between the centre back and the right back, and he spots it. He sees the run, Bale, and he's got the ability as well to put really the ball exactly where Ramsey needed it. And it's a brilliant finish. This was a good chance, you know, with his aerial ability. I thought he should have done better there. Makes a penalty for himself. You know, he runs at people. We know when he's in full flow, it's very hard to stop. Defender sticks a leg out. There's no question. It's a penalty. It's on the line, which is part of the 18-yard box. And yeah, he steps up himself. I think he was probably a bit put off because I think he was going to his left. And when the keeper actually went to his left, to Bale's left, I think they put him off a little bit, and he knew, I think, that he needed to put it, right underneath the bar. Unfortunately, he knocked it over the bar. But when these things happen, you need your teammates to dig you out, and you know, they didn't get punished, fortunately. And then obviously he was the one who finished the game off with a brilliant run along the touchline, set the second goal up for Roberts to really decide the game in the 93rd, 94th minute. All out performance, did everything, defended, threat going forward, led by example. Top class. Yeah,
really top class. Richie, Didi mentioned his presence of mind, but also great strength of character, because even after he missed that penalty, he was constantly taking things on himself. Sometimes he felt maybe he was being a bit stingy, you know, a bit greedy, taking things on himself, but he took responsibility, didn't he? And it eventually ended up creating that second goal.
It did. We wondered at half-time, would they make substitutions that were defence-minded? Would they look to hang on to what they've got? And would they retreat, which would invite Turkish attacks? But they didn't do that at all. The couple of changes that were made weren't with that in mind. And at the very, very end, how many times have you seen a team that are 1-0 up, have a corner kick, and just keep it in the corner and not try to do anything but try to win another corner, win another throw-in? And Bale, quick thinking, just sees the opening. Obviously, you have to be damning here in our criticism of Turkey. To defend a corner kick in that way, where the person in the corner can run to a yard within your 6-yard area without getting challenged, is obviously unforgivable. But for Bale to do it, set up Roberts, this goal goes in, and it just adds like a moment of real brilliant celebration and memory for the Welsh team. They fully deserved it.
They obviously didn't want to give another corner away, the Turks. You know, this is why they showed him the line, because they knew if we give another corner away, the game is probably finished. But before that corner, they had a corner on the other side. And we were talking about the Russians before, how to see games out and do the right things at the right time. You know, Bale already took 2.5 minutes off with the corner before that. Then he went the other corner. You know, he's another minute off the clock, and then he sets the goal up, and the game is finished. And this is what the best players do, and this is what you have to do. You have to have the mentality to say, well, where is the time? What is the clock? How long is left? What do I have to do? And he did it.
Is this one of the points we were talking about the other day, is the advantage some countries have of having more players at big clubs because they're more used to managing games and they get that experience at the bigger clubs? And did that manifest itself in the Wales performance tonight, in the likes of Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey?
Yeah, well, I think it sets the top class players apart from the average player or the below average player, and that's what they do. It's a mentality thing, you know. Of course, he's got more ability than most other players. But the ability is one thing. If you haven't got the right head on your shoulders to think about things and you know, always try to improve your game and always try to improve your decision making, then you won't get to the top. And obviously he showed that he's been to the top for a decade now. And you know, you don't need all your players at the top clubs. Some nations have. But if you have 2 or 3, I think they can manage, or they will manage the rest of the squad. And I think that's what happened with Wales today. Because even what Richie just said, I think the substitutions were positive. You know, they didn't sit back, they didn't bring defenders on to soak up the pressure. They said, no, we keep getting out, we keep attacking Turkey. And I think when you've got players like Ramsey and Bale, the way they play today, when they lead by example, others will follow. And you know, what they did today was exceptional.
But I don't think it was a given that we would see that from Bale. Like you're saying there, he's been at the top for years. Like, he got to the top many years ago, but he hasn't maintained it. We know how his club form has gone in Real Madrid. He was sent out on loan. All the talk of him coming into this tournament, you'd always see the phrase, we know he's not the Gareth Bale of old. We know he's not the one that was in the tournament in 2016. There's question marks about what he's going to do after the tournament. Like, amazingly, one of the options people are actually considering is that he'll walk away. So there are all these question marks around, like, what's this fella going to produce? And after the weekend's performance, that question was still unanswered. So I don't think it was a given that he was going to show up like that, and just because he's at a top club he was going to do that. Like, he was superb.
But it's probably fair to say at the same time, Richie, that his Wales form has generally been good, and that the performance against Switzerland was out of character for him. Yeah,
there's never been a question, whatever, all the jokes out there about golf and whatever his priority list is, and the length of time he's been outside of the Real Madrid team, there's question marks about his commitment or his desire at club level. No one's ever said that about him in a Wales shirt.
I think he just enjoys toying with the media, to be honest, because he wouldn't answer the question about his retirement. But at 31, playing that well, he's hardly going to walk away from the game. Well, you'd hope he isn't, Didi. But let's have a look at some of the other chances that Wales created, because it could have been 4 or 5 quite easily.
Yeah, and it could have been at least 2 at half-time. This is a good stop here by the keeper. More with a good strike. Again, it's good football. They get through, lay it back. And it's just good football. Here we see they're winning 1-0. They keep attacking Turkey. They're not sitting back. They say, no, we take the game to them. Keeper is very fortunate there. He's hanging on for too long. And I think this epitomised Wales today. The right back, Roberts, is gone. He's beaten. Who's making the tackle? Aaron Ramsey. He's in his own box. Richie said it before. He got a bit tired towards the end. Probably that was one of the reasons, because he was chasing back. He spotted the danger. He said, I need to be there. Bad touch by the Turkish player. It got away from him a yard too much. But Ramsey's there, makes the tackle and clears the danger. And this is what Wales is all about. And if you have that spirit, if you have that unity, and you've got 2-3 top-class players on your side, if you defend well, which they did in both games, and you've got 2-3 top-class players going forward, got a chance.
And all the while, Richie, while they have a 1-0 lead, it's also a fragile lead. And while Turkey did create, Wales defended really well. And Danny Ward had another good game between the sticks, hadn't he?
He did. Turkey, I think, I assume they'll acknowledge this themselves. They were just out of sorts as an attacking force again today. I mean, they were better today than they were against Italy. But what they created wasn't much. But this is the best of them. It falls to Yilmaz. Like, if anyone you wanted to fall to, it's him. But I think he just snatches at it. He had time for it to come down a little bit. He doesn't realise he has as much time and lashes it over. But a chance like that is crucial. He took it. Demiral here with the header from a corner. But that was kind of it. There wasn't much else we could talk about. Yeah. There wasn't even a sense towards the end of the game where you think, OK, this is an onslaught. Wales are going to have to dig deep, and because Turkey are throwing everything at them. There was no sense of that at all. So they've been a letdown, and I think we'll keep saying it. Turkey have been the biggest letdown so far of the tournament.
Yeah, but quite rightly we've lauded Wales for the performance tonight. But were they a little bit silly? A number of the players getting involved in the kerfuffle towards the end of the game.
The schmozzle.
Oh, schmozzle.
Well, you can see what happens here. I think it's Roberts goes down, and what starts it off, there's a few hands in the air. They're claiming various different things, but Yilmaz goes down to him in a moment, and generously you could say this is a little tap saying, come on mate, up you get, there's nothing much wrong. Or at the other end you could go, well, this is deliberately provocative, he's acting a maggot. And in this case then, or it's actually Roberts reactions then and throws him on the ground. And after this, it's all kind of handbag stuff, and we wonder then, like, is this a scenario that VAR gets involved? Because there's no way that a referee can catch everything that was going on around. In the end, 3 bookings, harmless enough in the end.
Yeah, they were silly bookings really, though, to pick up at the end of the game, weren't they, Didi?
Yeah, but then again, on the one hand, yes, don't get involved, it's only 2-3 minutes to go. But on the other hand, I think it shows that, Yilmaz shouldn't put his hand in Rodon, I think it was Rodon's face. Yeah. And it also shows, I'm kind of in between, because you want to see your teammates defending your guy who's on the deck. And that's what they did. They said, hang on a minute, you're not going to touch our player in the face when he's down injured. And that's what they did. And I think it was a bit harsh that the 2 Welsh players got booked. Obviously, there were, in the end, it was about 10 or 12 players involved. It was hard for the referee. It's it's unfortunate, but again, I think I see a positive side in it as well.
Yeah.
They say, no, we stick together. Whatever happens to one of our mates, we're there for him.
Yeah, well, you can very much say that Wales 2020 Euro Challenge is very much up and running at